One day, a young Navy wife came to him and asked for his help. And as he began to talk to her, he found out that she was in the middle of a very difficult divorce fight with her husband. He'd come back from a tour of duty from the Orient and decided that he wasn't going to be married anymore to her. And so he was suing her for a divorce, and it was a very nasty fight over custody and money and so forth. And so she asked for his help, and she handed him a little 8mm reel of film. Back before there was Super 8, there was 8mm, and we used to take pictures of our kids and stuff. And so he asked her what this was all about, and she said, well, what happened was, while he was on one of his tours, he was brazen enough to have filmed him and a prostitute. And he was foolish enough to keep it and maybe forgot it was even there. And in helping get her husband back together and his stuff put away, she found it and said, what's this? And watched it. She asked him if he would go to the courtroom, in which he agreed to do. And they went to the courtroom just before a judge with everybody else and the different dockets coming behind him. And the judge first listened to the attorney for the husband, explained why he should have what he wanted and so forth and so forth. And he turned to her and him and asked, what do you have? And he said, I'd like this little film shown, Your Honor. And he said, kind of an ordinary in that day, what will it show? And LaHaye just said, it'll show it all, Your Honor. So they turned off the lights, flipped on the projector, put it on the wall behind the judge, and them and the judge and everybody in the courtroom watched this video of this man and his prostitute. LaHaye said they looked over at the guy. And what this young, brash, confident, sure of himself individual started, he went from sure of himself to absolute shock when he realized what was going down, what she had found. And as it played on, he just shrank in absolute shame. When the lights came on, and the judge turned to him and said, red-faced, do you have anything you'd like to say? He was absolutely silent. He had nothing to say. He was frozen in shame before the court and everybody watching. Well, if you have that picture of that courtroom in your mind, then you have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to talk about in Romans 3:9-20. Because this is the preview video of what is coming when mankind stands in God's courtroom one day to finally give account for his sin. It's recorded by John in Revelation 20. And then I saw a great white throne and him who sat upon it, from whose presence earth and heaven fled, and no place was found for them. And I saw the dead, the great and the small, standing before the throne, and the books were opened. The books where those deeds are all recorded. And the dead, and another book was opened, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged from the things were written in the books according to their deeds.